If you saw my previous video where I was showcasing the difference between the Imperial Workshop lightsabers and Disney Legacy lightsabers, then you'll remember that I was ultimately in favor of Imperial Workshop. I was a fan of their craftsmanship and their quality and just bringing that lightsaber experience to life in a way that I didn't think Disney really did. But I liked them so much that I ended up getting another one. So without further ado, this is technically...
Let's go. Let's go.
Imperial Workshop does a great job of building their lightsabers, and so much so that they're often sold out on their website. People flock to their website to get really awesome lightsabers that they can use for not only cosplay and photos, but also for dueling, because they're actually high quality. I know high quality is a kind of a loosely used general term, but I think Imperial Workshop does a really outstanding job in building lightsabers that people can use and enjoy for many, many years to come. And don't have to worry about them breaking so easily because they are actually meant for things like dueling, and people will actually use them for that and give them a good smacking. And so back in June, they actually notified everyone who was on their mailing and their watch list about a restock of all their hilts, which was great news because that meant if you were waiting for a hilt, you had a chance to grab one. In addition to a brand new hilt that they were adding to their webpage called the Divergent Hilt. And I don't think it's based on any particular character's current design. Maybe if anything it might be something close to Starkiller because it has an exposed kyber crystal, but I know he already had like an inspired design there already. Whatever the case, it's cool and I got it and it's in this box. So let's open it up. In my previous comparison video with the Darth Maul lightsaber hilts, what I didn't like so much was that Imperial Workshop just sent the lightsaber hilts to me in a cardboard box, and I wasn't really digging it. I have it sitting right over here, and actually one of the flaps came off already, and so it's not completely enclosed all the way around anymore, and so one of those flaps is missing, but that's beside the point. I would have rather had something a little bit more like keepsake-ish, just like Disney's Legacy lightsabers coming in those plastic containers. Even if they're plastic, there's still something to hold your lightsaber hilt in. So this was a big plus, and I found out that a lot of their other hilts actually come with these carrying cases. It actually has a little briefcase handle, but I guess the dual-ended lightsabers just don't come in that same package because maybe there's just doesn't fit. I don't know. But opening up this one, it's very nicely packaged. You have some foam cutouts to keep everything organized and in place. And we're gonna pull everything out. So first is obviously the hilt. We'll take a closer look at this in a minute, but this is the Divergent Hilt. And it's a very nice design, which is kind of why I wanted to grab it. Put that down for a second. You also get your instruction booklet. You got your little bag with retention screws and an Allen wrench. And then you also got a little lightsaber stand, which didn't come with my Darth Maul hilts, so I'm looking forward to displaying it. It's kind of wrapped up right now, but you would put that on display, and then you can nicely display your lightsaber hilt. And this, I haven't figured out quite what this is. I'm imagining it might be something for the lightsaber blade, but there's a little contraption there. And then the lightsaber blade itself, which is just the same as we saw before, a 36-inch blade, still in the wrapping. Here we have another Allen wrench, which I haven't actually figured out what this is for as well. It's got two ends of it. It's a little bit bigger than the one used for the retention screw, so it might be used just to like open up a part of it for maintenance, but haven't figured out entirely what that's for. You have your micro SD card reader, which comes with all of their hilts in order for you to easily change fonts. And then we have the battery charger. I actually thought that all of their hilts came with like rechargeable batteries in the sense that you just plug directly into the hilt, but I guess some of them actually have removable rechargeable batteries. So this one is one of those, and we'll go over that in a second. Otherwise, that's all the toys that are inside. Let's get to the hilt. Like I mentioned, I don't think this hilt is particularly inspired by any character or current hilt design. I think it's just an original design that Imperial Workshop came up with, but it is a very nice one if I do say so myself. So here on the front, which might be a little hard to see, but you have the exposed kyber crystal, which once you turn the blade on, then the crystal will obviously reflect the color of the blade. And then you have some other little accents here. Don't think anything else really has a functional purpose that I can tell. There's no cover tech wheel, or maybe I guess maybe these are cover tech wheels here on the front to be able to holster it on a belt. But otherwise, everything else is just kind of like ornamental, and it's very well embellished. It has some nice detail. The grip is nice. Nothing really like rubbery to help retain grip in case like you were to get sweaty or something. So I'm a little worried about that. But otherwise, very well made. Similar to the Darth Maul lightsaber hilt, I think, which is well crafted overall. The switch is also different. On the back here you have the switch, which is kind of easy to miss if you're not looking for it, but you have these 3 buttons, and then the middle one is what you use to actually turn it on and use all the functions. But I was actually confused as to where the power button was at first. Oops. I was actually confused as to where the power button was at first when I got it, because I was used to it being like on the front, easy access, but it's actually right here on the back. So very easy to miss if you're not looking for it. But once you know where it's at, you just, boom, turn on. You can see that kyber crystal glowing yellow in there from the last font that I had, and it's very cool. If you get a font that has a flickering effect, so if it's like flickering yellow, flickering red, flickering blue, then the kyber crystal will also flicker. I thought it was a nice touch as well. I haven't actually tested it with the rainbow font where you're getting all the spectrums of the colors going through. I'm not sure if, I'm guessing you'd probably get a multicolored kyber crystal, but haven't done that yet. I'll have to try that out. And attaching the blades is no different, so you just pop it in there, use a little Allen wrench that's included to buckle down on the retention screw. One thing I did notice with the Divergent Hilt is that there's only one retention screw slot. So on Darth Maul's hilt, we had one on either side, but on this one, we just have one from the front. But in all my testing, it seemed good enough to hold in place. So there we go. This one has a nice yellow glow to it. And let's see if we can find a font where the kyber crystal is actually glowing. And that way we can see the full effect. Got that nice flickering red effect thanks to Kylo Ren's handcrafted lightsaber. But then if you take a closer look, you can also see that that kyber crystal has a nice little flickering effect too, which is a super nice touch. I imagine that if you were to take pictures with this, or like any dark setting, then this would just be an added touch to it, because it's just an extension of the lightsaber blade, which is already great and 100 times better than the Disney Legacy lightsaber ones. But just having this little exposed kyber crystal is an even better touch, because right now I don't think that any Disney Legacy lightsabers have an exposed kyber crystal. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just haven't seen the ones that do, but Imperial Workshop has that Divergent, as well as another one which I forgot the name of, and they have exposed kyber crystals, which is great, like awesome to have in your collection if you can manage it. So blade nicely cycling through the colors, and then you also get the same effect on the kyber crystal, which pretty sick, I have to say. And as always, the Imperial Workshop blades just look great at night. We can test it out. We got all the same effects as before, like if you do the clashing effects, hit the button, and you get those different clashes on different areas of the blade. And then you can also do the tip drag by holding the button on the hilt and then hitting down with the tip of the blade. Super cool. And then also the holding clash effect. So you hold the button on the blade and then give it a good hit. Boom. Super cool. And also, we can cycle through the colors with all the blades, so we can even change this to like a flickering purple if we wanted. So hold the button, and then when you're holding it with the blade facing down, you just do a little flick of your wrist.
Color change active.
And then we can cycle through these colors and pick one that suits us best. So let's go with a flickering purple, because I like to imagine that Mace Windu survived his fall and his lightsaber took a beating. Let's see, right there.
Color selected.
And so now Mace Windu's lightsaber blade is a little bit crackly, but still good. And of course, then we have that Kyber crystal flickering purple with us. Super, super cool, I have to admit. Like, unfortunately, there isn't an easy plug-and-play solution when it comes time to charge the battery in the hilt. Unlike the Darth Maul and some of the other hilts that Imperial Workshop offers that have the plug right on the hilt, you actually have to open this one up, take out the battery, and recharge it, which isn't too bad because they made it really easy. You just have to unscrew this part of the hilt, this bottom portion, and of course some may vary, but once you do, then you have easy access to the battery right there. Just make sure your lightsaber is all the way powered off, like completely, before removing the battery, and then you just pop it out, and then you would use the included charger that's in the case, pop it into like an outlet with the appropriate voltage or wattage, and then charge it up and it'll be good to go. This particular hilt did cost a little bit more than the Darth Maul hilts, but probably for more reason, because it does have the exposed Kyber crystal element and a little bit more embellishment than the Darth Maul hilt. That one was, I think, a great deal because you got Darth Maul's double-ended lightsaber with the two separate hilts, and then it came with the two blades, and that like is awesome on its own for about $500. This is about the same, also $500, and it includes your blade as well. So while it is a little bit pricier than your normal like Disney Legacy lightsaber hilt, I think it is very much worth it. Like I explained in my other videos, there's a lot of pros and benefits to getting these hilts, and they even give you like a much more heavy-duty case. For Disney's Legacy lightsabers, they give you this tin for each of the hilts that you're purchasing. Some of them can vary in size depending on whose hilt it is. I've seen some bigger and some smaller sizes. And then on the front, which I think is cool, is that depending on your character, they'll give you this little emblem that denotes that specific character. And otherwise, it's just kind of a plastic tin, nothing too special, nothing like heavy duty. I wouldn't trust this to take a really hard fall, but it's just something to be able to keep your lightsaber hilts nice and encased in. Whereas on the other hand, this is like the step up, because not only is this like heavy duty, first of all, while this is plastic, it's reinforced with these metal linings, so all the joints, if it were to take a fall, I would have no problem like checking this onto an airplane if I had to, because it could definitely take a beating and take a tumble, and it also has locks on the front. While I don't think that they're TSA friendly locks, they are locks to prevent someone from just opening up your case and then running off with your precious lightsaber, because what's a Jedi without his lightsaber, right? So I think it's super cool that they include this with each of their lightsabers, except for the Darth Maul. They don't include it with that one. And then once you open it, it just keeps everything nicely grouped. And I do like this one because it also has room for the hilt. The Disney Legacy lightsaber tins don't have room for the hilt, so this is like a plus, because you get to keep your hilt, all the accessories, and then your blade in there as well. All in all, I think this is a wonderful addition to add to any Jedi's arsenal. I mean, it's not exactly the cheapest lightsaber around, but if you can manage to add it to your collection, you won't regret it. $500 isn't exactly within every Jedi's budget, but if you can save and muster up those credits, this is definitely worth the purchase. And you can bring it on your journeys, use it for your next duel, a little sparring with friends here and there, or just wait to take down that Sith Lord you've always had your eyes set on. Whatever the case is, I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful in helping you decide which hilt you want to get. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Let's go.